Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. First news is former Liverpool star drops Xabi Alonso verdict after Arne Slot replacement theory raised. Second news is Liverpool transfer news as $70M midfielder wanted and fresh Mark Guehi update emerges. Former Liverpool star Danny Murphy believes the club's board will be aware of Xabi Alonso's situation, but believes they won't make drastic moves to replace Arne Slot anytime soon. It comes as the ex-midfielder lost his job as Real Madrid head coach, following a 3-2 defeat to Barcelona in the Spanish Super Cup. Alonso was touted as a possible replacement to Jurgen Klopp a couple of years ago, but after he committed to staying at Bayer Leverkusen, attention quickly turned to Slot. The Dutchman delivered the Premier League title in his first season, banishing many thoughts about a missed opportunity to land a former player as head coach instead. The Spaniard then made his move to Real Madrid, which only lasted a few months, but his exit has coincided with a tough spell for Liverpool this season. As a result, many fans have theorized that the club hierarchy would be willing to switch Slot for Alonso if the opportunity arises in the coming months. Former star Murphy has given his verdict on the Spanish coach and the possibility of him arriving at Anfield in the near future, as he said on talkSPORT. He was a brilliant footballer, really intelligent, not the most athletic, but he had that football intelligence. I know the lads there who played with him spoke highly of him. That doesn't happen, in fact, very rarely. Very likable. He started off his managerial career really well. Maybe Real Madrid came too soon for him. On the possibility of him arriving back at Liverpool, Murphy added, "Yeah, Liverpool board will keep a close eye on proceedings. That's what you should be doing, keeping on top of what's going on around you if you're a top club, ready for a contingency if something bad happens." But Slot's actually recovered from the poor spell well. They haven't been playing brilliantly, but the injuries, problems they've had to be on a 10-game unbeaten run, they've stabilized. He's done all right. Slot needs a good second half to the season, but I wouldn't think there's any drastic thoughts of the hierarchy. Liverpool have often been keen to give their head coaches time to get things right, and while Slot got off to a quick start last season with a title win, there has been a need for patience this campaign. Expectations may have skyrocketed after a summer spend topping £450 on top of a team that already won the league, but there are clear problems to be solved. We know that our league position makes it very hard to compete with Arsenal for the league title, Slot admitted to Sky Sports recently. Our first focus now is on a top 4, top 5 finish to qualify for the Champions League, and all the other things we can still play for the Champions League, for the FA Cup. Anything other than Champions League qualification could change the picture for Slot, however, which may well see the board turn their attention towards a managerial market that is expected to explode over the summer. Alonso's exit from Real Madrid makes him an obvious top candidate, not least with his ties to Liverpool from his playing career, but there is also proof of working well with players he had at Bayer Leverkusen. He has, so far, been a project coach who can work through spells, something that clearly isn't afforded to a coach at Real Madrid, who went on to lose to second-tier Albacete in the Copa del Rey on Wednesday night in their first game since the change in the dugout. Perhaps a move to Liverpool, who are traditionally patient with coaches, will be an attractive prospect for the 44-year-old, but that all depends on how the club view the current job being done by their manager. Second news is Liverpool transfer news, as $70M midfielder wanted and fresh Mark Guehi update emerges. At the halfway point of the January transfer window, in terms of senior additions, Liverpool has not made a move yet. Unless an opportunity comes up that can't be turned down, that is likely to remain the case. Arne Slot's side is light of numbers, particularly in defence at the moment, but Liverpool is not a team that panics in the market. It has been active mid-season in the past, but mainly to accelerate moves that had been lined up for the summer when it was possible to do so. Nonetheless, the rumour mill never stops. Here is the Liverpool.com verdict on the transfer gossip to emerge around the Reds today, with a Dutch wonderkid first on the agenda. Liverpool and Real Madrid could go head-to-head to sign AZ Alkmaar sensation Kees Smit, a 19-year-old midfield prodigy, according to the Daily Star. Smit has also been linked with a move to Newcastle United in recent months, and is said to be valued at around $70 million, £52 million, with the Dutch side hoping there is a bidding war. Netherlands boss Ronald Koeman has previously compared Smit to Barcelona midfielder Pedri, no pressure, and he has already made 59 senior appearances for the club where he broke through. With Wataru Endo not particularly suited to how Arne Slot wants his deepest-lying midfielder to play, there is definitely a case for signing a midfielder more well-versed, in playing a Liverpool-like system to help out Ryan Gravenberch. It remains to be seen, however, whether Smith would be the right option. At 19 or 20 as he will turn this month, he might feel he needs to go somewhere where minutes are more guaranteed for now. As it stands, there is no frontrunner to sign Crystal Palace and England defender Mark Guehi, according to Sky Sports, even though he came so close to a transfer move to Liverpool in September. Guehi is wanted by Manchester City this month, but the Etihad side would also be prepared to move for him in the summer when his contract expires. Liverpool and Arsenal are also thought to be in the mix. Abroad, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid are among the teams to have taken a look at Guehi. Those outside of the Premier League can speak freely with him now regarding a move in the summer. Manchester City is seeking to sign a centre-back after injury setbacks for Josko Gvardiol and Ruben Dias. There are also question marks over the long-term futures of John Stones and Nathan Ake. Third news is Florian Wirtz's ex-teammate shares passionate transfer plea to Liverpool star, "Don't do this." Florian Wirtz was urged not to join Bayern Munich by a former teammate before he secured his record-breaking move to Liverpool. Wirtz, of course, joined the Reds during the summer to become the club's record signing, a title he held until Alexander Isak's arrival from Newcastle on deadline day. After a slow start at Anfield, the 22-year-old has begun to find his feet, having grabbed 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 6 appearances. Arne Slot has put his Upton in form down to him, adapting to life in the Premier League, having undergone a weight-gaining program since his arrival from the Bundesliga. Wirtz arrived at Liverpool after much speculation over his next destination in the summer. The forward had looked destined to move on following an impressive spell at Bayer Leverkusen, in which he helped the club to an unbeaten domestic double under Xabi Alonso in 2024. Bayern was strongly linked with his services, as was Manchester City, although it was the Reds that would eventually win the race, perhaps helped by one of Wirtz's former teammates. Leverkusen midfielder Robert Andrich has revealed to the Spielmacher podcast that he pleaded with Wirtz not to make the move to Munich, telling him, "Please don't go to Bayern. I honestly thought he'd go there. I told him at some point, please don't do it, don't do this to us." You can say that for German football, we need German talents to stay here, but in the end there's only Bayern Munich at the very top when we talk about quality like flows. I wanted him to go abroad. I told the Bayern guys that too. I was happy for him that he took the step. I wouldn't have thought he'd dare to go abroad so soon. Bayern had tried to sign the German international, although club chief Uli Hoeneß has suggested the club balked at Wirtz's price tag, with Liverpool eventually securing him in a deal worth £116 million, $156.7 million. His move to Merseyside has drawn some bitter responses from Bavaria though. They spent €500 and are having a disastrous season, Hoeneß said at the end of last year, as quoted by Bild. In my opinion, that's because they only have superstars. They only have chiefs and no workers. I always say, at Liverpool, they'll soon have to play with 5 balls because the stars won't give up any of them. Poor Florian Wirtz, he doesn't even get a ball there because Salah and Szoboszlai and all the others want to play with their own.